If you can hear me and I am loud and clear enough, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. I hope that the network does us good tonight. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome to the School of Personal Development. If you can hear me and I am loud and clear enough, please go ahead, let me know in the comments, and then we'll jump right into the business for the night. If you can hear me and I am loud and clear enough, this is the School of Personal Development with Emmanuel Ahmadu. And tonight I am teaching on a subject that I am super excited about. I'm teaching on the topic, the pillars of financial prosperity. The pillars of financial prosperity. Fantastic. P says, you're loud and clear enough. Let me get feedback. And I am loud and clear. Please do well. Let me know very quickly. I need one more person to let me know that they can hear me. This is the School of Personal Development with Emmanuel Ahmadu. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a free bi-monthly personal development training program where you are equipped with principle-based, life-applicable knowledge that is guaranteed to change and to transform your life. Thank you. I see Martha. Martha says, I can hear you loud and clear. Simeon says, you can hear me. Silas says, you can hear me. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know how we do it. Go ahead, comment your first name. Thank you. You know how we do it. Go ahead, comment your first name and your current location. I'll do a quick shout out and then we'll jump right into the beat. You want to do well to stay away from every form of distraction. Tonight's training is going to change your life. In the next 45 minutes, 1 hour, we should be done with tonight's session. The Pillars of Financial Prosperity, Part 1. So stay away from every form of distraction. Get your pen, get your notebook. Make sure you pen down something. Make sure you write down something. If you hear me say anything striking, please do well to let me know in the comments. I want to know that you guys are following, and I want to be sure that it is an interactive class and it is an engaging one. So do not keep it to yourself. If you hear me share anything striking, do well, share it in the comments. And then also very importantly, make sure you share this video with at least one person. You can put it up on your WhatsApp status if you want to give somebody the opportunity to be part of the session. If you're just joining in, this is your first time, make sure you let me know, okay? Make sure you let me know in the comments so that I can welcome you specially, but do well to subscribe to the channel. The more that we grow the channel, the more we can reach more people. So do well to subscribe to the channel. If you're not yet subscribed, click on the subscribe button. It shouldn't take you, it won't cost you anything, and it shouldn't take you any time at all. Without wasting any further time, okay, maybe one or two shout out and then we'll jump right into the business. I see Peacemaker from Jos, good to have you. I see Itia from Zaria, good to have you. I see Ade Soji from Zaria, good to have you, Soji. Sarah from Zaria. I see Mata from Kano. Good to have you, Mata. I see Daminola from Niger State. I see Bukola from Kaduna. Good to have you, Bukola. I see Simon from Abuja. Good to have you, Simon. I see Lovett all the way from Enugu. Good to have you. I see Joel from Zaria. Excited to have you. I see Silas from Kaura Local Government, Kaduna State. Good to have you, Silas. I see Nathan from Zaria. Good to have you, Nathan. Ishaya Priscilla from Jos. I see Sentifat. I hope I pronounced it well. From Kaduna. You're welcome to the School of Personal Development with Emmanuel Ahmadu. This is a free bi-monthly personal development training program where you are equipped and empowered with principle-based, life-applicable knowledge that is guaranteed to change and to transform your life. And tonight, I am teaching on a very, very powerful subject, very, very important subject. You know, I've planned this teaching since January, and I've been looking forward to it. I've been anticipating my teaching this topic. It is a very important topic, that concerns everybody. Tonight's teaching is on the pillars of financial prosperity. I'm teaching the fundamentals of wealth and abundance, the pillars of financial prosperity. And I'll jump right into my discussion for the night. This is part one, by the way. Hopefully after the Leverage Conference. The Leverage Conference is starting in about 2 weeks. Who is excited? If you're not registered for the Leverage, make sure you register. Okay, it's emmanuelamadu.com/leverage 2026. Make sure you register. And then after the Leverage, we'll continue with the series. But let me get started right away. When we talk about the subject of finances, it is a subject that concerns everybody. Money is a subject that affects everybody, regardless of your religion, regardless of your nationality, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your culture. The subject of money is one that affects everybody. Everybody is affected by money. If you do not if you do not think about money, or you do not see money as a necessity, you are going to suffer for it. So everybody, whether you are Chinese, whether you are an African, whether you are an European, money is a subject that concerns everybody. If you read Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 9 and 20, 19 and 20, it says, a feast is made for laughter, and wine makes life merry. It says, but money is the answer to everything. Money is the answer to everything. I like the Amplified. The Amplified further emphasizes that it provides the means for enjoyment of life. That money is the answer to everything. So when we talk about the subject of money, you cannot exempt yourself. You cannot say, maybe I'm a spiritual person, or maybe my faith does not like me to touch money. By the way, for most people who are believers, there is an ideology that, some people have that stops them from embracing the subject of finances. And that is in Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. Timothy 6:10, where it says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. But that subject is not saying money is the root of evil. The Bible verse there is saying that the love of money, not money itself, your relationship with money is what will determine whether it will be good or bad, not the money itself. Are you seeing it? I like Amplified. It really amplifies that Bible verse. It says, that is the greedy desire for it and the willingness to gain it unethically. So the Bible is not saying that money is the root of evil. The Bible is saying the affinity, your passion, your drive for money, that unguided drive. There are people who everything they talk about is money. Everything that concerns them is money, and they don't care how they get it. You see, I remember back then I used to have a friend. I think I went to visit him and his brother. Anytime we're doing morning devotion, by the time I finished praying, he would stop me and say, Pastor, your prayer is not complete. I said, what do you mean? He said, you have not mentioned Kalu. Kalu means money. That means the prayer is not complete if I have not mentioned money. You see, it is good and it can also be bad. If you're obsessed with money, money can destroy you. We're not talking about obsession here. But let me make it very clear. If you do not consider money, if you do not like money, let me not use the word love, you are going to suffer on earth. Everybody needs money. I'll be sharing more on that later. What really inspired me to do this teaching tonight, I've done a similar teaching before whilst we're still having the School of Personal Development on Telegram. But what really inspired me to do this teaching is the fact that there are so many resources on the subject of finances, but most of them only emphasize one area of financial prosperity. They do not do justice, holistic justice, to the subject of financial prosperity. And you see, most people just, especially young people, We just run with one area of financial intelligence, and that area is usually how to make money. Over 90% of the books that are written on finance are about how to make money, you see. And people are concerned about how to make money, and they forget all of the other areas, and you see that obsession and all of that, and it can be very detrimental. So finances is one subject that must be taught holistically. If you're going to enter into wealth and abundance correctly in such a way that it will not destroy you, then you must learn finance holistically. And usually there are 3 books I recommend. In fact, so sorry about the network. I trust we can hear me. We can hear me now. We'll just make do with what we have. So when it has to do with the subject of finances, there are lots of books, there are lots of resources. But let me tell you, these resources, they do not do subject to finance from a holistic perspective. That's why you can see a young person, who is obsessed about money, because all that he read about or all that he learned about watching a video is how to make money, how to be a millionaire. They don't teach finance from a holistic perspective. And there are 3 books that I like to recommend, especially when it has to do with the subject of finance. They are classical books. In fact, 2 of them are books that were written in the early 1990s. You see, I usually like books that are old, because many of the subjects that come right now, many of the books that come out right now, they are just concerned about, get rich quick schemes, how to invest in Forex and all of that. All of it is good. But if finance is not taught from a holistic perspective, it can destroy the person who has that knowledge. The first book is The Richest Man in Babylon. Write it down. 3 books, 3 recommended books from Mr. Emmanuel Ahmadu. Number 1 is The Richest Man in Babylon. It was written by George S. Clason. That book was written in 1926. It's 1926. That's about 100 years ago. Imagine. But the book is a classic. In my opinion, the book captures holistically the pathway that leads to financial prosperity and abundance. It's a very profound book. It's a small book. In fact, we read the book in February. I think February or March. If you don't have that book, go and get it. Trust me. That book, I will recommend it for anybody and everybody. You want to be financially wealthy, financially prosperous, go and read The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. The second book I would like to recommend is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich. The book was written in 1937 by Napoleon Hill. In fact, it took him about 20 years of research to get the book. After interviewing, over 20 billionaires, captains of industries, he was able to come up with that book. It's a very, very powerful book. Think and Grow Rich. In fact, do you know, I was checking recently and I discovered that book has sold over 100 million copies. Over 100 million copies. You see, so go and read that book. And each of these books I'm recommending, don't read them once. You can dedicate 6 months and say, for these 6 months, I will read each book at least maybe 5 times or 10 times each. And then the last book, because of our territory, most of us are from Africa. Most of you listening to me now are from Africa. You can't be reading a book like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Most of the principles that are taught there may not apply to Africa. Honestly, it's a great book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a great book, but the principles may not apply to our culture here. And that's why I recommend The School of Money by Olumide Emmanuel. So that's the third book, The School of Money by Olumide Emmanuel. It's a relatable book. So The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason, The Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and then The School of Money by Olumide Emmanuel. Go and get these books, these 3 books. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please let me know in the comments. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please let me know in the comments. Yes, so sorry about the network challenge. If you can hear me, please let me know in the comments. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. Sincerely apologize. I sincerely apologize about the network. Okay, so let's jump right in. Let's jump right in to where we stop. So I was saying that if you are going to be financially prosperous, it is important for you to know the purpose of finances. It is important for you to know why you need to make money. Why you need to make money, right? And there are three primary purposes of finances. There are three primary purposes of finances. That if you want to become wealthy, it is important for you to understand the purpose of wealth and abundance. Because if you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. Money can kill, just like money can bless. It's like having a gun. The same gun you can use to defeat your enemy can become a tool that you can use to kill yourself. If you don't know the purpose of money, it becomes very dangerous. Never give money to a person in abundance who does not understand the purpose of money. And there are three primary purposes of money. Write this down. This will bless you. This teaching is going to bless you. There are three primary purposes of money. Number one, you need money to live a comfortable life. Write it down. You need money to live a comfortable life. When it has to do with quality of life in terms of finances, there are 4 levels. The first level is poverty. The second level is comfort. The third level is luxury. The fourth level is extravagance. Let me repeat. When it has to do with finances, living a comfortable life with respect to finances, there are 4 levels. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, comment value. There are 4 levels. The first level is poverty. The second level is comfort. The third level is extravagance and luxury. And the fourth level is extravagance. You see, and you are not permitted to be poor, and you are not permitted to enter a realm of extravagance. We are trying to escape poverty. At the same time, we don't want to be extravagant. Extravagance means, have you seen people who literally don't know what to use money for? They burn it. They use money for all sorts of foolish things. Use money, to buy things that they don't need. Let me not, extravagance is relative. For somebody, buying a shoe of 20 million is extravagance. But for somebody who is wealthy, maybe that's just luxury. Maybe that's just luxury. So when we say extravagance, we're talking about extreme use of money. There are people who just sit and they burn money, literally burn money physically, use money for things that do not make sense. Now, you want to make sure as much as possible that you fall within the range of comfort and luxury. Comfort and luxury. So the first purpose of money is that you live a comfortable life, that you are not poor. I tell you, life is difficult without money. Life is very difficult without money. Over 90% of your problems, 90% of your prayer points will reduce when you have finances, or will disappear when you have finances. We have somebody that my spiritual father used to say that he says, when you are financially empowered, your prayer point will reduce and your prayer life will increase. And that's very true. When you have money, you see, Africa is a praying continent today, not because many people really love God, not because many people really, are spiritual. Africa is a religious country today because many people are living in poverty and they see God as an escape route. That's why for the average Africa, when they leave maybe to Europe, leave to UK or wherever it is, they literally forget about God. Because most of the things that they would have prayed about have been made available by the government. There is good road, there is 24 hours electricity and all of that. So there's no point to pray again. Is somebody learning? So you need finances to live a comfortable life. A comfortable life is a life where you are not living in lack. A life where you can meet your basic needs. Are you seeing it? The need for house, the need for clothing. If you cannot pay your rent, you are not comfortable. If you cannot afford to clothe yourself, you cannot afford to eat right. There are many people who are sick today because they are eating garbage. Not because they cannot be healthy, but because they do not have the financial empowerment to live a healthy life. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? So if you want to live healthy, for example, why take pure water when you can afford bottled water? If you can't afford bottled water, that's when you take pure water. You see it? Right now, there's electricity challenge all over the country. I am able to communicate to us because I have a solar system in my house. And it costs me money to put that solar system in place. Finances will make you live a comfortable life. Don't let anybody make you feel you don't need money. I tell you. Why continue to trek? Do you know, when I took my car, I went to spray my car. It took them about 1 week plus. That was when I knew the value of having a car. I literally did not go out for that 1 week. Maybe here and there. But I literally, because the stress was too much, that I have to walk out, go and find a bike or all of that. It was too much. Imagine if you had the money to buy a car. That's living in comfort. Imagine if you had the money to set up a solar system. Some persons here may be watching me in darkness, or your phone is a few percent and you don't have light to charge it. You need money to live a comfortable life. And when we talk about comfort, we're talking about the ability to meet your basic needs. The need for, shelter, the need for food, the need for clothing, all of these basic needs. If you are in lack, you cannot live a comfortable life. You cannot. There are people who are raising their children in very poor environment. Are you seeing it? And it is affecting them. Because that environment, they are predators. Imagine raising a girl child in an environment where there are sexual predators. They will rape the child or molest the child, and then that child will grow up with traumas and all of that, owing to the poverty of the parent. No, I will not raise my children in a poor environment. I will not raise my children in a place of lack. Why send my children to a public school when I can send them to a private school? You see, you need finances to live a comfortable life. You need finances. There are many people who are suffering from depression today, low self-esteem today, not because there's a demon somewhere, or not because of any other challenge, but because of the absence of financial resources. Now, you need finances. You need finances to live a comfortable life. So that's the first reason. Number two, the second reason why you need to be financially empowered, why you need money, is to be a blessing to humanity. You need financial resources to be a blessing to humanity. Imagine the smiles you can put on people's face when you can be a blessing to them. I've had the privilege, to do a few things for people, pay the school fees of someone, a few persons, and I've seen the smiles on their faces, the smile on their parents' faces, to know that you can support. I've had this privilege to stand as a bridge, providing some form of help to people, sinking boreholes, and all of those things. And I've seen the smiles. There was a time, sank a borehole in a community, and I remember there was a woman who came and she was crying. And she said, for how many years there has not been water in their village, that God will bless, the person that was executing the project for, God will bless him. And I saw the way she was crying, and it touched me. And I said, no, I will not just live a comfortable life. I will be a blessing to my environment. Imagine if you could just find 100 children or even 10 children and say you put them on scholarship and pay their fees from primary school to secondary school to the university level. Imagine the benefit. And you see, when you are a blessing, there is a joy and a fulfillment that you get that you will never get from any other place. There is a satisfaction that is only derived when you are a blessing to humanity. Giving is living. You are not truly living if you cannot bless people. But you see, if you are not financially empowered, how do you bless people? Somebody who has not eaten, how does he give people food? Somebody who is not living, who is not under any shelter, how does he provide homes for people? So you see, you need money to bless people. You need. Fantastic. So sorry about the network, guys. I hope you can hear me now. I hope you can hear me now. Okay, so we're sharing why you need money. Why you need money. And I said that if you do not understand why you need money, money can destroy you. And I've shared two reasons with us. Number one, I said you need money to live a comfortable life, a life where there is no lack. If you don't have money, you are going to be miserable. You're going to be frustrated. There are many people who have lost their loved ones because they do not have money. Imagine a person who they need to perform a surgery for maybe his mother and they need 300,000 naira, but he does not have it. That because of 300,000 naira, you lose your mother. No, you need to contend for finances. And then number two, I said you need money to be a blessing. You cannot truly be a blessing if you are not financially empowered. There are people who need fees. There are people who need their medical bills paid. There are people who need to go to school. There are people who do not have shelter. They need finances to get all of these things done. They need finances. They need finances. The third reason why you need money is to advance the purposes and agenda of God on earth. Now, I don't know what your faith is, but let me tell you, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, if you want to help God achieve his agenda on earth, you need finances to advance the purposes and agenda of God on earth. God has an agenda. God has a purpose that he wants to fulfill on the earth. If you read Timothy chapter 2 verse 4, Timothy 2:4, 1 Timothy 2:4, it says, who will have all men to be saved and to be brought to the knowledge of the truth. God has an agenda. The agenda is to have all men saved and to have them brought to the knowledge of the truth. For those of us who are believers, God's agenda is to extend the influence of heaven on earth, to extend the culture of heaven on earth. And to achieve this agenda, God is depending on men, depending on the finances of men to get this done. Zechariah chapter 1 verse 17. It says, cry yet, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad. My cities through prosperity. God needs your money for his agenda to prosper on earth. You see, I'm just going to leave it here. But if you want to help God, when I say help, it's not really like if you want to partner with God, because you can't help God. God is almighty. But if you want to partner with God to see his purposes battered on earth, you need finances. There are many people who need to be saved. There are many people who need to be transformed. For example, what we are doing now, the assignment of the Leaders Manna Network, the School of Personal Development, the Leverage Conference, I hope you know that it is an agenda of God. It is an assignment of God. We are transforming the minds of men. We are empowering men with knowledge so that they can live victorious lives. Is there anything wrong if today one of you listening to me will say, Mr. Emmanuel, I'm writing you a check of 100 million just to support the Leaders Manna Network? You see, we're having network fluctuations now. Imagine if we could buy, what do you call it now? What do you call this network that they use? I checked the subscription is very, very expensive. Is it Elon Musk? This Elon Musk network. What do you call it? Somebody let me know in the comment. There's a particular network that is being used that is not dependent on the normal internet, but it's quite expensive. I think subscription, Starlink. Thank you. Is there anything wrong if one person just says, Mr. Emmanuel, I'm writing you the bill, because what I am doing now is empowering people, transforming people. Nobody paid anything to be here. So imagine if you were so blessed and you were listening to me right now and you say, Mr. Emmanuel, I like what you are doing. You are impacting people. You are helping people become better versions of themselves. Let me write you 100 million naira just to improve the quality of the School of Personal Development training sessions. so that maybe you can get a better camera, so that you can have better lighting, so that you can, empower your team to do great. Is there anything wrong with that? But you need finances to do that. So there are three primary reasons why you need money. There are three assignments. Never forget this. Never forget this. You want to be wealthy, you must know the purpose of money. When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And I said the three purposes of money. Number one, you need money to live a comfortable life. Number two, you need money to be a blessing to humanity. Number three, you need money to advance God's agenda, God's purposes on earth. You need money. You need money. Let's make progress. The law of recognition. Let me touch on that. The law of recognition. You may want to write this down if you're writing. The law of recognition states that you will never be motivated to pursue anything until you first recognize the need for it in your life. Let me repeat it one more time. The law of recognition states that you will never be motivated to pursue anything, whether money, whether a wife, a spouse, whatever it is, until you first recognize the need for it in your life. That need is what creates desire. There are many people who are not hungry enough to be financially prosperous because they have not obeyed the law of recognition. They do not have sufficient desire. They have not seen the need for finances in their life. If you're going to be financially prosperous, if you're going to be wealthy and have abundance in your life, you must be hungry. You must be hungry. And hunger comes from the place of recognition. I want everyone to take a moment. Just think about an event that has happened in your life or an experience that you've had that is very painful because of lack of finances or because of lack of resources. Think about it. There are people who have lost loved ones because they did not have money. Maybe a family member needed to do surgery and they needed 2 million naira and your family could not raise it and that person ended up dying. Maybe somebody who has a wife, the wife was supposed to do CS to give birth to the child and the man could not raise the 300,000 naira. Everybody he was calling, they were disappointing him and he lost his child because of 300,000 naira. Maybe you have a loved one who had to do hookup, had to sleep around to raise money so that they can feed or so that they can pay their fees. You have to think about an experience, painful experience that lack of finances has cost you. For me, I have too many painful experiences. I've shared my story. My family, we grew up in a compound that housed, about 10 families with just one toilet and one bedroom. I remember back then we had to form a long queue, to take our bath or to use the restroom. My mother would have to wake up very early as 4 a.m., 3 a.m., so that we could bathe early and go to school. It was such a painful and traumatic experience. Me and my brother, we could not afford socks for school. Stockings that you put before you put your shoe. We could not afford it. We'll buy one pair, one socks, and then we'll cut it into two and just use it to cover the front of our legs. I remember I had to use sellotape to hold my trouser because it was so worn out. You see, just so that it will stay in place. That's what lack has done. And I told myself, no, just because I was not born with a silver spoon will not mean my children will also suffer the same fate. No, my background will not put my back on the ground. That my children will never come to meet me and say, Daddy, we don't have school fees. If my father could not afford my school fees, I will afford my children's school fees. Lack is very terrible. Growing up in all of those environments, it did a lot to my mindset, low self-esteem, depression, because I could not even afford boxers. Imagine the embarrassment. I went to school, my coursemate and all of that. From my GS1 till I finished school, I did not have a chair and table to sit down. I remember writing exam one time, I was owing 8 term school fees. My form tutor, I literally knew her footstep. When I had her coming, I would jump through the window. But that day I was writing exams. And I remember she came in, stood me up in the class and embarrassed me and all of that. There was a young lady, I'll never forget her name. Happiness. Happiness insulted me one time. You know, your family, this. Growing up there, your house is surrounded by gutter. And all of those experiences did something to my self-esteem. It is by the grace of God that God, by his word, and God, by transformation, has helped me to become who I am today. But poverty would have destroyed a great person. You see, I will not be poor. Not from a fanatical standpoint, not from a hustling standpoint. No, I know what lack of resources can do. I know what lack of resources. This is why I will pay whatever price. I will read whatever book. I will listen to whatever tape to learn and do whatever is necessary for me to be financially empowered. The law of recognition. Some of us, we have not seen the need for financial prosperity. That's why we are still comfortable where we are. The Bible says, woe unto them who are at ease in Zion. Woe unto them who are comfortable in poverty. Your mother is staying in a house right now where heat is killing her, trekking up and down. Your family member is... I hope you can still hear me. No, not me. Not me. You have to be hungry. You have to be hungry. It was Eric Thomas, I think. It was Eric Thomas who said... So sorry about the network. I hope you can hear me now. I think it was Eric Thomas. It was Eric Thomas who said that until you want to succeed as bad as you want to be free, that's the only time you'll be successful. Did you hear that? Can we hear me? I hope we can hear me. Fantastic. He says, until you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's the only time you'll be successful. Many of us are not hungry enough. Somebody said the law of recognition. Have you seen a guy who is in love before? A guy who is in love can literally travel from one end of the earth to the other end just to see the woman who is in love with. Do you know what is driving him? Is that passion, that hunger, that desire to see her. Until you want to be successful like that, until you want to be wealthy to that degree, then forget about successful. So being successful, there are people, I've mentioned 3 books. Do you know for all those 3 books, I cannot count the number of times that I've read them. You want to be successful, you've not read 1 book on finance. Even for this teaching, you're already tired. Now, you cannot be financially prosperous if you are not hungry. There is a requisite level of hunger that you must have if you're going to be financially prosperous. Somebody say hunger. And my goal tonight is to show us that pathway, show us the blueprint to a wealthy and prosperous life. You see, I want to share with us the pillars that make for success in terms of finances. You want to be financially free, you want to live a life of wealth and abundance, then you must pay attention to the pillars that I'm about to share with us. Maybe we'll take one, to maximize the time, and then part 2 will continue from there, right? But before we move further, let me define a few terminologies, because you see, when you are teaching, you cannot assume that people know the words. They understand the meaning behind the words that you are using. For example, when you talk about wealth, somebody is thinking about money, plenty money. No, wealth is more than just having money. So let me define some terminologies that relates to financial prosperity. Are we ready for it? If you're ready, comment, I am ready. Comment, I am ready. Number 1, terminologies that relate to financial prosperity. Number 1, poverty. What is poverty? Write this down. Poverty is a mental and physical state of lack. Poverty is a mental and physical state of lack, leading to insufficiency, that leads to insufficiency and unfavorable conditions. Let me repeat. Poverty is a mental and physical state of lack that leads to insufficiency and unfavorable conditions. Very important. Two things to note. Mental and physical state of lack. Take note. Poverty is a combination of mental lack and physical lack. In fact, it is the mental lack that creates the physical lack. So poverty is not just the absence of financial resources. Just because you do not have money in your bank account does not mean you are poor. No. Poverty starts from the mind. A person is poor when they have insufficiency in their mind. If you have an abundance mindset, even if your bank account is empty, you are still not poor. Somebody getting what I'm saying? I hope we're getting value. So lack alone, financial resource lack is not enough to say somebody is poor. Just because I don't have money does not mean that I am poor. When you say somebody is poor, it means that their mindset, they don't have a productive mindset. And that has translated into lack physically. So there are many of you who are listening to me today. You may not have anything in your bank account, but you are not poor. Why are you not poor? Because you have a productive mind. You have a mind that can think. You have a mind that can create ideas. You have a mind of abundance. If you want to be financially free, you must be free first in your mind before your hands will be free. I like the verse of the Bible that says, "Thou anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over." So it starts with your mind and then it shows up in your hands. Very profound. Now, there are many people who have financial resources physically, but they are poor in their mind. Those people are still poor. You see, they are still poor. Just because somebody has $1 million does not mean he's rich or does not mean he's wealthy. Wealth starts with the mind. There are many rich people that are poor. I speak a parable. There are many rich people that are poor. They still have a poverty mentality. They still have an insufficiency mentality. No, when we are talking about wealth, wealth is complete liberation, not just from lack physically, but from lack also mentally. Is somebody getting value? Before I define the next term, let me share some side effects of poverty with us. 5 side effects of poverty. Number 1, compromise. The first side effect, because poverty has side effects. Poverty is like a drug. How many of us have taken a drug before and we start sleeping? The drug is supposed to cure maybe headache, but you start sleeping. That's the side effect of that drug. So poverty has side effects that when somebody is poor, these are some of the side effects that you will see. And number 1 is compromise. My spiritual father will say that if you do not have financial resources, you will steal, you will lie, or you will borrow. You must do one or all of these 3 things. The moment you are in lack, you will steal, you will lie, or you will borrow. This is why most poor people are either thieves, they are liars, or they borrow. Betting platforms and all of these borrowing platforms, do you think it's rich people that go there? It's poor people. It's poor people. So the side effect of poverty, one of it is compromise, stealing, lying, borrowing. Somebody say, I will not be poor. I will not be poor. If you are poor, these are some of the things that come with poverty. These are some of the packages that follow poverty. No, I will not be poor. If you're somebody who doesn't want to lie, you don't want to steal, and you don't want to borrow, you must fight poverty. Israel had to go to Egypt because of lack, because of insufficiency. If you have lack in your life, let me tell you, as long as you are a human being, you will be under pressure to steal, to lie, or to borrow. Number 2, second side effect of poverty is greed. In bracket, you can write stinginess. Is greed. Greed is an intense or selfish desire for more of something than is needed or deserved, especially wealth, power, food, or possessions. That greed is an intense or selfish desire for more of something than is needed or deserved, especially wealth, power, food, or possessions. Let me give you a classical example. Have you seen people who go to weddings and even though they've eaten, they came with leather in their bag to collect extra? That's what greed is. And it's a result of poverty mentality. Have you seen somebody who go to a buffet setting? Once I was saying this, I just remembered an experience. Somebody who goes to like a buffet setting where there is food on the table, and that person will carry their plate and full it. They will put fish, put meat, put chicken, put goat, because they know that they are in lack, so they want to enjoy everything at once. If you are the kind of person who never remains food, you never remain food in plate, you must clear everything. I'm not saying like if there's anything wrong in eating all your food on your plate, but you cannot remember any time this year that you ate and it remained. My dear friend, that's poverty. That's poverty right there. That's why you see that most rich people, most wealthy people, you see when they eat, you will see that there's leftover for the dog or whatever it is. There are people who have dog in their house, even the bone, the dog does not see. Stinginess and greed is a function or is a product, is a side effect of poverty. It's a side effect. Corruption is stinginess that is sponsored by poverty. When you see our politicians who are packing all our money and they are, just hoarding it, doing a lot of things, you hear one person steal 100 billion. What do you want to use it for? That's a poverty mentality. Remember, I told us that just because you have financial resources does not mean that you are wealthy. There are poor people who have money. Let me repeat. There are poor people who have money. Don't be a poor person who have money. No, be a wealthy person who has money. Greed. Number 3, side effect of poverty. The third side effect of poverty is low self-esteem and insecurity. Low self-esteem and insecurity. This is a feeling of inadequacy. You begin to think all sorts of things. Somebody is looking at you and you say, why is this person looking down on me? Somebody pass you and you say, why this person did not greet me well? You see, poverty will put voices in your head that should not be there. There are people who are under pressure trying to prove a point that nobody asked them to prove. That's why a lot of people buy things that they do not need to impress people that don't care about them. It's poverty that causes it. Poverty is what will make you carry your entire savings to buy a weave-on or a wig. Poverty is what will make you carry your entire savings to buy a phone that you can lose, or buy a dress just to show somebody that, oh, me too, something is happening in my life. I tell you, poverty is very dangerous. Not just the lack itself, the side effect of that lack is even more dangerous than the lack. Low self-esteem and insecurity. You begin to take all sorts of things, think all sorts of thoughts and put yourself under unnecessary pressure, especially to match up to societal standards, buying stuff you don't need. During the last Valentine that happened, I saw all sorts of things. I saw a video where they said a lady literally bought herself gift. Just to show that, her boyfriend is caring. It's poverty mentality that causes all of those behavior. Somebody say, I will not be poor. I refuse to be poor. I fight poverty passionately. The fourth side effect of poverty is envy and bitterness. Envy and bitterness. Wanting something another person has to the extent of resenting them is a result of poverty. Feeling unhappy about the fact that you don't have something somebody has. That's why poor people are the most critical people. Who gave him that car? All of them are thieves. They see everybody as corrupt. They see everybody as a thief. It's poverty that causes that. Poverty is what will make you not celebrate others. Now, I was teaching yesterday or so. Was it yesterday? Yeah. And I was sharing about the fact that when you are wealthy, you will not have problem with a lot of people. Envy, bitterness, all of these things are a function of lack of result. It's easy to celebrate others when your life is making progress, when you are successful. Also, you will never see two billionaires fighting themselves. It's always a poor man fighting a billionaire, because lack will make you have bitterness. Lack will make you have envy towards those who have. Number 5, side effects of poverty. Number 5, stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety. Poverty will cause you to worry. Nothing makes somebody worry like poverty. Have you seen people who just sit down and they are just looking? You would think that they are looking at you, but their mind is in many places. Their mind is already thinking, this fuel price now, food goes to increase, rice is now this. Poverty will make you think a lot. One of the leading cause of anxiety or mental health issues is poverty. So if you want to have a sound mind, be rich. I think this is what I put up in the Leaders Manna Network WhatsApp channel. I said money will help you have a good mental health. Money, finances will boost your mental health. I refuse to be poor. I refuse to be poor. I refuse to be poor. So I said all of these things because I was defining poverty for us, and I shared for us a side effect. Second terminology that I want to define is riches. What does it mean to be rich? Riches. What does it mean when somebody is rich? What do you mean? Write this down. Riches is the presence of abundant financial resources. The presence of abundant financial resources, full stop. When somebody has a lot of money, that person is rich. The goal of your financial prosperity journey is not to be rich. The goal is to be wealthy. You see it? So riches is the presence of abundant financial resources. If somebody has 10 million in the bank, you can say that person is rich. But that leads me to the third definition that I want to make, which is wealth. Wealth, or being wealthy. Write this down. That wealth is riches. Wealth is riches plus the ability to replenish it and the time freedom to enjoy it. So wealth is more than just riches. Wealth is riches plus the ability to replenish it and the time freedom to enjoy it. Now, two people can have maybe one bucket of water each. You can say both of them are rich, but the person that can replenish his water once he uses it is the person who is wealthy. Did we get that? If you're getting value, comment value. That two people, A and B, can have one bucket of water each. But when they use it, I hope you know that water can finish. Now, the person who can replenish that water is the person who is wealthy. That means beyond just having a tank of water, sink a borehole. That's where it becomes powerful. That beyond just having a tank of water, I hope you know, no matter how much water you have stored, it will finish if you are not replenishing it. Right now, I don't have so much water in my house. There's the tap is literally, there's no water coming out. But I am not bothered. Do you know why? Because I know that once they bring the light, the borehole will pump water and water will come. So I'm able to replenish my water supply, so I do not have any problem. There are many people who have buckets of water, but they cannot replenish it. You are rich, but you are not wealthy. So even if you have $100 million, if you are not able to replenish it, you are not wealthy. And that money can finish. There are many people who, just because they are rich, they think they are wealthy. Riches is not wealth. Can you replenish it? Do you have the time freedom to enjoy the money? That's what it means. That's what separates the boys from the men. I hope you know that you are not a millionaire because you have 1 million naira. If they remove bank charges, you have lost your status as a millionaire. You are a millionaire When you have 1 million naira plus the ability to replenish it, that means even if you spend from that million naira, you can still replenish it. There is a system in place that will replenish that 1 million. My God, I hope somebody is being empowered tonight. Wealthy, riches plus the ability to replenish plus the time to enjoy it is equal to wealth. Somebody say, I'll be wealthy. I will not just be rich, I'll be wealthy. That's why you see rich people can go on vacation and they don't mind. You know why? Because they've already set in place systems to replenish that finances. So Otedola, for example, can buy Porsche. Was it Porsche or what was the car he bought for all his daughters? He bought it for all of his daughters and he did not feel anything. Do you know why? Because there are systems to replenish it. A rich person does not have the luxury to spend like a wealthy person. You know, there are people who all you have is 1 million and you want to enter first class like a wealthy person. By the time you spend that 1 million, you will go back to economy. But a wealthy person, maybe that money is a money that came from an investment that he made and he can replenish it again. I must be wealthy. The ability to replenish reminds me of the scripture that says, be fruitful and multiply. It says, subdue and replenish the earth. Replenish. Don't just multiply. Don't just be fruitful. Have the ability to replenish. And this is what tonight's teaching. You see, you will not learn these things in many of the books, many of the seminars that you see. Many teachings that are being done is how to make money. Invest in Forex and all of that. But they don't teach you that it's not just about making money. Do you have the ability to replenish it? Are you seeing it? Do you know how to put systems? If you have 1 million naira, you are not rich, you are not wealthy, you are rich, you have money. But if you spend that money, you become broke. Wealthy people can spend and they will still remain afloat. That's why I said fundamentals for wealth and abundance. I didn't just say fundamentals for abundance. No, fundamentals for wealth. That means you have the ability to replenish your supply and you have that supply in abundance. Being wealthy. Being wealthy. Before we move to discuss the pillars of financial prosperity, we're beginning to wrap up. Maybe I'll just share these 2 facts and then we'll wrap up. The next time we meet, we'll go into the pillars proper. But I'll list the pillars for us. But is somebody getting value? Let me see the fire emoji if you're getting value. Profound teaching tonight. Let me share 2 foundational facts about financial prosperity. There are 2 foundational facts about financial prosperity that you need to know. It's going to be the foundation of this of the whole discourse on the pillars of financial prosperity. 2 foundational facts. It's very important to know this if you're going to be wealthy. Number one, nobody becomes financially prosperous by luck. Write that down. Nobody becomes financially prosperous by luck. No, there is nobody. There's nobody who just wakes up and they are wealthy. You can be rich by luck. You cannot be wealthy by luck. My media people, make sure you hashtag that. Make sure you turn that into a quote. You can be rich by luck, but you cannot be wealthy by luck. Wealth requires systems, intentional systems to make you wealthy. You know, you can be rich by luck, meaning that you can win a lottery or somebody can just dash you 1 million naira. Are you seeing it? That's lucky. That's being lucky. But to be wealthy, the ability to replenish it, that one is an intentional work. Have you not heard of people who maybe won $1 million in a lottery or something, and then 1 year later they are broke? That's because they became rich. They did not become wealthy. They did not know how to convert that riches into systems that will make them wealthy. You need systems, intentional systems to be wealthy. If you read Proverbs chapter 22 verse 2, it says the rich and the poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. Take note, the rich and the poor, God made them all, but he didn't make them so. God made them. It was their decisions that made them rich or poor. If you're going to be wealthy, you have to decide to be wealthy. You have to be intentional about being wealthy. Wealth does not happen automatically. Nobody becomes wealthy by luck. Nobody. Nobody. I'm on my way. I have a plan. Do you know why I know that I'm going to be wealthy? Because I have a plan. There are all sorts of investments right now that I'm into, stocks, mutual funds, and all of that. Is because I'm intentional. I'm being frugal and cutting down on my expenses because there is a place I'm going to. It is the wealthy place. The wealthy place. The wealthy place. Nobody becomes financially prosperous by luck. Leviticus chapter 9 verse 6. Here's what the Bible says. It says, and Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord has commanded ye that ye should do, and the glory shall appear unto you. There is a thing to do to see the glory. If you don't keep the patterns, you will not see the glory. There is a pattern that makes the glory available. There is a pattern that must be kept for you to see the glory. There are laws that must be kept for you to see the glory. You want to be wealthy? There are things that must be done. You don't just sleep and wake up at age 30 and then you have a lot of money and you are wealthy. No, it doesn't work that way. And I truly desire from the depth of my heart that tonight will be the beginning of somebody's journey to the wealthy place. Number two, the second fact, or the second foundational fact about prosperity, financial prosperity, is that the journey to financial prosperity begins with the pursuit of financial intelligence. Write this down, very important. The journey to financial prosperity begins with the pursuit of financial intelligence. You want to be financially prosperous? The starting point is not a business. The starting point is not hustling. The starting point is financial intelligence. Psalm 23 verse 5. Here's what the Bible says. It says, thou prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. It says, thou anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Thou anointed my head. There is something you put on my head that now is responsible for what is on my hands. Prosperity starts in the mind. Remember when I was defining poverty, I said poverty is mental lack before physical lack, right? That means if you want to have abundance, if you want to be wealthy, the first place to begin to work on is your mind. That's why financial prosperity begins with financial intelligence. There is something you don't know now that is responsible for poverty in your life. If I give everybody listening to me now $1 million, I hope you know after 1 month, there are people who would have spent their money. There are people who would have spent half. There are people who kept the money. There are people who would have doubled their money. The difference between everybody is not, their muscle, it's not discipline, it's not hustle. The difference is their financial intelligence. Money is just a tool. It is your intelligence that will determine whether you can have more of it or less of it. Money is attracted by your mind. If you have a good mind, you will attract money. If you have a poor mind, money will run away from you. Thou anointed my head with oil. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 15. Here's what the Bible says. It says, the labor of the Ecclesiastes 10:15. The labor of the foolish wearieth every one of them, because they know it not how to go to the city. Their problem is not that they don't know the city. Their problem is that they don't know how to get there. Everybody wants to be wealthy, but the problem is that not everybody knows how to be wealthy. You need financial intelligence to be financially prosperous. Believe what I'm saying. I'm encouraging somebody for the next 3 months. Lock yourself if you have to lock yourself. It's not about starting a business. When you tell people about finances, the first thing they say is, I want to do a business, or I want to write a book and sell. I want to do this. You have no business doing if you have not, informed yourself. Daniel 11:32b, it says, they that do know, they shall be strong, and then they shall do and have exploit. Take note. They know first, then they become, then they have. Knowledge is what will make you become, and then you attract. If you have a millionaire mindset, you will attract a millionaire. If you have a billionaire mindset, you attract a billionaire. There is a mentality that millionaires have. that makes them millionaires. There is a mentality that billionaires have that makes them billionaires. You can't have a poor mindset, a thousandaire mindset, and want to have a billionaire result. No. Let me tell you, you see, money will always reduce to the level of your mentality or your thinking. There are some of us, you notice that for a long time, all you've ever had was maybe 100,000. If somebody gives you maybe 500,000 or a million naira, that money will reduce to 100,000, then you will now be okay. That's because your mentality will not be comfortable with anything that is beyond its level. Somebody getting value tonight. If you're getting value, comment value. Your mentality will be the ceiling of your financial prosperity. So if you want more money, you have to upgrade your mind. You have to learn financial intelligence. And that's what this teaching tonight is all about. That's what the journey of financial prosperity is all about. It's not about hustling. I tell you, many people think their problem is money. If they give you 100 million naira now, what would you do with it? There are some of us, you go and buy a car, you will buy a house. You don't know what to do with it. Before the money comes, begin to prepare your mind for it. In fact, it is the preparation of your mind that will attract the resources into your life. Did somebody get that? It is the preparation of your mind that will attract the resources. So before the 100 million comes, begin to think like somebody that can manage 100 million. Create the systems that can manage 100 million. Now, you cannot use a 1,000 naira brain to attract 1 million naira into your life. A 100 naira brain cannot produce a 1 million naira result. Upgrade your mind. Somebody say, I will upgrade my mind. The journey to financial prosperity begins with the pursuit of financial intelligence. That's why I recommended the 3 books that I recommended. For those of us who are just joining, go and find the books. The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and then The School of Money by Olumide Emmanuel. You can camp around it alongside this teaching, the financial prosperity teaching. Camp around it for 3 months. You'll be surprised. The way you position yourself will change. Your finances will begin to change. Some of you, God has been waiting for you to hear this teaching to bless you. Waiting for you to hear this teaching. So 2 facts. Nobody becomes financially prosperous by luck. There are laws to keep. There are, things to know. There are cultures to adopt for you to be wealthy. And then the journey to financial prosperity begins with financial intelligence. Now to the meat. Let me just introduce us and then we'll end. When we come back for part 2 after the Leverage Conference, we'll continue with the series. But let me introduce us the pillars of financial prosperity. The pillars of financial prosperity. I know that there is a lot of teachings when it has to do with finances, but let me tell you, if you listen to this teaching wholeheartedly, I'm not there yet. That's why I don't teach on finance a lot. But let me tell you, I know what it takes to be financially prosperous. It's just the discipline and the time that is now left. There are 3 major pillars that if you focus on and you reinforce, you will never be poor. You will be on your way to real wealth and abundance. And these are pillars. There's a reason why I call them pillars. Any architect will know that if you take the pillar in any house, that house can literally crumble. A pillar is what keeps a structure standing. If you remove one of it, the house can collapse. So there are 3 pillars. Most people focus on just one, but one pillar cannot hold the house of wealth and abundance. There are 3 of them. Let me list them for us, and then we'll wrap up for tonight. Number 1, the first pillar of financial prosperity is how to manage money. In bracket, you can write financial management. That's the first pillar. If you don't know how to manage money, I'm telling you, even if you know how to make money, you will still be poor. You want to be wealthy, sustainably wealthy? And this is where a lot of people miss it. Tell me how many books you've read on how to manage money. Many people they don't even know anything about how to manage money. They don't know anything about budgeting. How to manage money. That's the first pillar. Financial management system. The second pillar, which many people know about, is how to make money, in brackets, streams of income. How to make money. Many people have an idea of it, but even at that, it's still lopsided knowledge. I'll be teaching us the two ways that money come, how to increase your streams of income. I tell you, this teaching is going to be a colossus, deliverance for many people. How to make money, streams of income. And then the third pillar is how to multiply money, investments. I'm going to be teaching us investments, mutual funds, stocks and all of that, real estate, and which one should you start with? There are many people who don't know how to manage money. They're already investing. Hoga, I hope you know that investment is not a strategy for making money. Investment is a strategy for multiplying money. You see somebody who is broke, he's already doing Forex. Who told you Forex is for making money? Forex is for investing money and growing money. Oh, please don't miss the part 2 of this teaching series, the pillars of financial prosperity. Don't miss it for anything. I trust we got value. I will wrap up tonight when we continue with the session that will be next month after the leverage conference, because after now, in 2 weeks time, we're starting the leverage conference. And then after it, we'll have the part 2 of this. Don't miss it. I'm going to be sharing with us the 3 pillars: how to manage money, how to make money, and how to multiply money. It's a large one. I hope we don't get to part 3 of the series, but trust me, you don't want to miss it. I hope we got value for the time that we've had. If you got value, please comment value. Let me do a quick recap of everything that I've shared, and then I wrap up. Finally, I start by sharing with us that everybody needs money. Money is one subject that affects everybody. The Bible says money answered all things. Everybody needs money regardless of your race and your color. I went ahead to share with us that there are 3 primary assignments of money. Number 1, you need money to live a comfortable life. Number 2, you need money to be a blessing to humanity. And then number 3, you need money to advance God's agenda on earth. And then we proceeded further to talk about the law of recognition, that if you do not obey the law of recognition, you will not have the desire to pay the price to be financially prosperous, right? And we said the law of recognition states that you will never be motivated to pursue anything until you see the need for that thing in your life, including money. Many people don't see the need for having money. You must, and the way to do it is to think about a painful experience that has happened to you, and let that be an anchor for your push, for your drive to pay the price, to learn what you need to learn to produce finances in your life. And then we went further. I defined a few terminologies for us. Poverty. I said poverty is mental and physical lack. When your mind is poor and your hands are poor, lack in your mind and lack in your hands, we said that person is poor. I shared some of the side effects of poverty: compromise, greed, low self-esteem, envy and bitterness, and then stress and anxiety. And I defined what riches is. I said riches is the presence of abundant financial resources. But wealth is the presence of financial abundant resources plus the ability to replenish it and the freedom of time to enjoy it. So wealth is more than just having money. Wealth is the ability to replenish that money. And then I share with us 2 foundational facts about financial prosperity: that nobody becomes financially prosperous by luck or by chance. It takes intention to be financially prosperous. And then number 2, that the journey of financial prosperity begins with the pursuit of financial intelligence. That you need to be financially intelligent to be financially prosperous. And then I introduced us to the pillars of financial prosperity: how to make money, how to manage money, and how to multiply money. The next time we would have the School of Personal Development, we'll delve deeper into these 3 pillars, and I'm sure that it's going to be a worthwhile time for us. I trust that we got value tonight. Just a few announcements, and then we're done. Who is excited? Leverage is around the corner. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be jumping right into the Leverage Conference, the laws of success. I'm excited. We have Elisha Maman. We have Fee Steven. We have amazing lineup of speakers. Please do not miss it. Make sure you share the flyer when you see it. Make sure you share the link. And if you want to support us financially, there's a link, or you can reach out to Cornel I know most of us know Conyo. You can reach out to him, or you can send me a DM. You want to support us. I spoke about the fact that one of the reasons why you need money is to contribute to God's agenda on earth, right? You want to support us, to better the network or whatever it is. Have any idea whatsoever, you can send your resources, you can send your idea. It will go a long way. This is why you need to be blessed, so that you contribute to pushing things that are positive, right? So you want to support, you can reach out, and God will bless you for that. Don't forget, if you're not in our WhatsApp channel, make sure you join the WhatsApp channel. The link is in the description of this video. Make sure you join. You are not subscribed, please do not watch this video without subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost anything. In just a second, you can click on the subscribe button. It helps us to be able to reach more people and to be a blessing to the lives of many more people. So do well, subscribe, and share the video with somebody. You can share the link with somebody. We'll try as much as possible to leave the video on the platform, so share it with someone. And then if you want the audio, usually we extract the audio. I'll make sure we get it up. So if you want the audio, do well. You can join the Element Plus community. I'm collating all of the other audios, and then we'll put it up in the community. The link is in the description. Click on it to join that. If you want me to mentor you, I don't have the personal time to mentor you, but I have a system. I have a 90-day strategic daily mentor program that I've put in place. It is a very powerful, thorough program that will bless your life, cutting across 6 pillars of success. You want to click on the link. It's called the SGDM 90, the 90-day strategic growth daily mentor program by Emmanuel Ahmadu. So click on the link. You get a 25% discount when you use that link. I tell you, it's going to bless your life. It's email-based, completely virtual. You receive daily insight from me that will bless your life. I don't think I'm missing anything. Thank you to the media team for doing a fantastic job. God bless you, Conyo, Compassion, Blessing, Soji. Thank you so much. David Digold, yesterday was his birthday. God bless you, David, our graphic designer. God bless you for all that you do. I'm sure we got value tonight. Like I said, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to share the video. Let me do a quick shout out, and then we'll be done for tonight. Compassion, I see you. Thank you so much. Soji, I see you. God bless you. Nathan, Sarah, Williams, thank you. Joel, I see you. Joshua, God bless you. Deborah, Danfulani, Verita, is that Verita? Cyprian, I see you. I see Ike. God bless you. Ishaya, Priscilla, God bless you. Simon Agene, always present. Thank you so much. Jeremiah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. The video will still be up, so you can watch the replay. God bless you, and have a lovely, lovely week ahead.